And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. As you can see on the screen, the next match is sas.dRaW versus iFU.TTF, a PPT. It's now the round of 8, so these are going to be best of 3s. So the first map is Neo Jade. The map order is Jade, Electric Circuit, and then Fighting Spirit. And that'll be the same in the semifinals and the finals. So, Elegant, what do you think about this matchup?
What do I think of this match? I think it's always great to see Draw play. I'm becoming increasingly excited to actually watch him. I think I've seen him more in the last week than I have in pretty much my entire experience of casting before. It seems like he's really kind of come out of his shell for this tournament, but also equally excited to see TTF play. TTF's quite an old hand at this as well, so plenty of experience. And should be able to really give Draw a run for his money. And I think it's going to be a pretty exciting matchup, and I always say this, I think Jade does make for some quite exciting games as well. Some slightly quirky situations.
Agreed. And one interesting thing about TTF, though, is that, like, at least from what I know, it seems that he's more of a TVZ specialist, much like a lot of Terrans, in fact. Generally, Terrans will, say TVZ is a strong matchup, and TVP is their weaker one. So I think that's the case for TTF as well. So it'll be interesting to see what he pulls off against Draw here. I don't think the maps are particularly favored one way or the other. I'm just trying to think, is Electric Circuit favored one way or the other? It might be slightly favored for Protoss, if anything, given that there's no ramp, but I'm not 100% sure.
I think it depends on how Protoss plays it. I think there's a lot of opportunities for Protoss to play it well, as long as they can really call what the Terran is going to do, but of course that depends on the individual player. I think it's a pretty balanced map.
Indeed. Of course, we wouldn't pick any two imbalanced maps for the TLS anyway. So yeah, that's a good point. And just in case anyone thinks we have some draw favoritism, it's completely true. No, I'm just kidding. I personally have draw favoritism, but no, we do just try and bring you guys exciting games. So we have some handy dandy referees who are scouring the tournament bracket for amazing replays.
Yeah.
And they just give them to us. So if they find a good game, they're like, let's put it on the cast. And it just happens that Draw plays a lot of good games.
Yeah, before this, I wasn't even really a fan of Draw in any way, but I'm getting there. I'm actually starting
You were unenlightened. You were unenlightened.
I have to say, he's winning me over.
See, the reason I'm a Draw fan? It's because like many moons ago, when I was a young little D-level player, I just started commentating. I was all fresh-faced and inexperienced. And I casted a game on match point between Draw and Zeke, who is now, of course, dominating the foreign scene. And Draw beat Zeke with a 2-base Arbiter build on match point. He recalled into Zeke's base. Zeke went for 3-base Turtle style, and Draw crushed him. And I was like, oh my god, that was amazing. So I was instantly a Draw fan.
Yeah, I can see that would win you over.
Anyway, so yeah, enough reminiscing. Let's get into the game. Game number 1 of a best of 3 between Draw and TTF. This is the round of 8 of the TLS 3rd qualifier. Here we go. Alright, spawning here as the purple Protoss at the top left, we do have sas.dRaW. And at the bottom right, as the yellow Terran, we have iFU.TTF.
We do indeed. So, for those of you who haven't already noticed, this is going to be a fabulous PvT matchup. We have, of course, already seen Draw in action in PvT already once today, where he nearly, I'm going to keep saying this, where he nearly dropped the game to Poetic AOV. The first round of this qualifier, managing to squeak through, and here we're going to see him face down against the far more well-known TTF. So let's see what TTF can pull out of the bag right here, and equally let's see what Draw can pull out of the bag right here. I'm not quite sure what kind of games we're going to see from these guys. I don't really know how they're going to be playing this, whether it's going to be a kind of aggressive style or whether they're both going to try and feel each other out just for a little bit.
Well, I think Draw is going to answer your question for you. Elegant. He's building a pylon in the middle of the map.
I wonder.
Oh, unfortunately for him though, it looks like Terran's actually walling. This is very curious. This is not the usual thing you see on this map because it is a reverse ramp. So if you wall the bottom, you can get a wall off with one depot and one barracks. But obviously, if you get dragoons camping on your high ground, it's quite annoying to deal with. So usually you either see like a one racks expand on the high ground here, or you just see buildings in the Terran's main. It's actually quite unusual to see this kind of wall in. Now Draw isn't going for a double proxy. He's not going all in or anything like that. He's just building a single proxy gateway, immediately scouting cross map here. Kind of similar actually to what he did against Poetic, except that he's actually proxied the gateway rather than build it outside his natural. So it might be thinking of something similar in this game.
Yeah, and this is actually going to be quite critical for Draw. We can see he's doing his best to prevent this wall-in from being completed, and it looks like he might actually be able to grab the SCV kill. Will he be able to get in and prevent the wall-in from going down? He's doing his absolute best. Will he be able to prevent it? The Terran does not have enough money to make an extra supply depot yet. Draw looks like he's going to be able to dodge in and maybe grab the SCV. Yes, he does grab the SCV, but he's unable to lay down a blocking pylon. I think he's going to have to be content with that for now. Oh, this is so on the edge. Will the wall-in happen? It's absolutely knife edge stuff right here for Draw. It looks like TTF's as yet unaware of the danger he faces, so he's not really expediting that wall in too much. And Draw might be able to take advantage of that. The probe almost going down, but the first zealot is about to pop. However, we do see TTF scout the middle of the map in a moment of clairvoyance, and right now he's going to be wanting to wall in absolutely as quickly as he possibly can, and all those probe shenanigans become instantly clear.
And you know what? I suspect that was accidental by TTF. I think basically from how early that probe got in, he thought that Draw was in close positions with him, so he went to the top right, didn't see him there, and decided to go bottom left instead, which just happened to bring him past the gateway. Because there was absolutely no indication of a proxy before then, unless you just kind of managed to guess it from the probe scout timing. But as I said already, he just kind of assumed that it was because they spawned close. But now he's going to realize that was not the case, and it looks like this wall-in is complete now. It is zealot tight, so this this proxy gateway not going to be able to do too much with these zealots. However, we do see the Sunrise Corps already started. Draw already mining gas here, so as soon as he can get some goons here on the high ground, he can start harassing this wall. And this is why I was saying it's a little bit risky to build this wall on the low ground here at the bottom of a reverse ramp. The goons can just kind of sit here on the high ground and start pummeling you from the high ground, and there's not too much you can do about it. Even when the tank comes out, there's about a 50% miss chance shooting uphill, so it's really not ideal.
Yeah, it's not ideal at all. We do have the two factory happening now for TTF as well, so looking like he's going to be really going for the aggressive follow-up against this proxy gate, and I think this is actually a pretty good idea. I can't imagine these three zealots managing to bust their way all the way in unless there's some very, very sloppy repairing from TTF, which I really can't see happening. No, we do immediately have a bunch of SCVs coming off the line. Can he get enough SCVs around that supply depot to actually do the trick, though? I think there are enough Marines to actually kill the zealots before they make their way all the way in, but slightly odd little bit of building positioning right there from TTF, but he is going to be just fine. And yeah, he's actually producing vultures first, probably in an effort to clear out these zealots as quickly as possible, which I think is a decent decision from him. But yeah, Draw's going to have to be pretty wise in his defense right here. He's going to have a second gateway up, but if he loses the middle of the map, it's going to be pushed down to one gateway straight away. So this is going to be actually quite an edgy defense for him.
Interestingly, it looked like earlier on Draw wanted to build his Nexus before getting a second gateway, but there wasn't actually an SCV blocking it, and there was no unit there to clear that out. So I think he just changed his mind and threw that in the second gateway. I'm not sure if that was what he originally intended or not. Meanwhile, it looks like a Dragoon now coming in to help bust down this wall, and as you said, this positioning is not ideal. I think you can actually make a better wall if you build a depot above where it is right now, and just kind of do depot barracks like this, and it's still a tight wall, and you can obviously get better repairing area there. Meanwhile, it looks like the Zealous is trying to tank the damage from the Marines while the Dragoons get some shots off, but it just like 4 Dragoon shots to kill a Marine, so it's a little bit slow there, and it looks like Draw just trying to keep the pressure on, but I think he knows he can't really do too much. Why are there 5 probes off the line right now? What on earth is going on?
What? He's chasing away that SCV with terminal intensity. And the SCV is going to be able to make its way out nonetheless and repair the Vulture, having taken only 1 hit. After being chased by like 5 probes, so that's probably not the best efficiency right there from Mr. Draw. And TTF has already produced his first tank. He's probably going to be producing a second one anytime now. He has mines on the way in as well. So that Vulture, which has made its way out for TTF, could actually be quite effective if it can get in behind and lay mines in between the Protoss's main defensive lines, of course, in his natural expansion, and between and his army, rather, I should say.
Indeed, but it looks like, oh, here we have the move out. He's got to move up the ramp, but there's only 1 Dragoon up there, and here we go. 2 SCVs helping to block. The tank is a little bit stuck behind though. It's not getting any shots off, but the Marines are doing plenty of damage here. He's going to start targeting down the damaged zealots, and it looks like there's only one zealot left. He's going to take that down. The Dragoon's going to have to back up here a little bit. Most of the Marines do go down. A second Dragoon joining the fray. I don't think no, it looks like Goon Range has now finished, so that's going to help a lot, but oh man, mines in the retreat path. These reinforcement Dragoons could run headlong into these spider mines. Do they realize that they're there? It looks like they do kill one of the mines, and I think Draw needs a whole position. He doesn't want to run into the mine. No! Oh man, takes a huge hit there.
Yeah, a massive mine hit going down, taking significant damage to all three of his Dragoons, huge damage to two of them, so he's going to have to be incredibly careful right there. He's going to lose his gateway in the middle of the map, and of course those two Dragoons are cut off as well. This is a really nicely thought through push by TTF. It looks like he might actually be able to catch another of the Dragoons as it pops out, but he runs the risk of losing a tank right there. He needs to make sure to keep that tank safe. No, he doesn't. Definitely not going to lose the second tank though. Both of the Dragoons go down, and maybe the third one going to go down in a second as well. Looks like he might try and retreat it, but where to? The best he can do is kind of hide it in some dark corner of the map and save it for later. But TTF's going to keep piling on the pressure. He's continuing to produce tanks, continuing to produce vultures, looking ready to make up a natural expansion as well. Oh, and tanking the damage from that mine right there. Draw deciding to throw away a Dragoon just for the sake of freeing himself up, which I think is not necessarily any bad thing, but we have 4 vultures now in that army from TTF, so that's going to be a pretty hefty number of mines he's going to be able to throw down.
Oh man, this is very, very dangerous. Of course, he lost that gateway in the middle, limited his production. He's trying to get out of this by making a Reaver here, but the Reaver's not nearly done yet. It's not even started, really. Just a shuttle in production right now. Meanwhile, TTF is expanding. How far is he going to actually go with this push? He knows that pushing up the high ground is a little bit dangerous because he doesn't have any mines there anymore. He doesn't have any vision. He doesn't know what's going on. The funny thing is that Draw actually doesn't know that there's no mines here either, which is why he kind of backed up a little bit. So both players playing slightly blind there, but it looks like now TTF is going to move up here, leading with the Vultures, realizing nothing's there, and going to put a lot of pressure on the Protoss. And this is a very narrow choke here, so once the Terran establishes this kind of position with mines and siege tanks, it's almost impossible now for Draw to actually break out of this. He's going to have to do some crazy Zealot micro to break out, or maybe just go for a counterattack. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I think his best chance is to try a counterattack sooner rather than later, but of course he doesn't have observers yet, so that would mean wandering through a whole bunch of mines, and I don't think he's willing to do that. I don't think anyone would be willing to do that. And that's definitely, even if he did have observers, that's way too many mines for him to be standing there taking damage from these siege tanks all that while he busts down all those mines. So he's in a pretty sticky situation. I really like TTF's decision making here. He's been incisive and he's been quick, and he's got across the map as soon as he possibly could, and that's what might make the difference in this game.
Oh man, elegant. There is a starport finished already, so this Reaver, as soon as it's spotted, can be countered just by Wraith, although it looks like he might get some good Zealot bombs off! Oh, gets 1 siege tank for 2 Zealots. Not a terrible trade there, but not enough if he wants to break this anytime soon. And the thing is, if this Wraith, no, it looks like it's not going to be a Wraith, he's just going for the control tower. I thought, having seen that shuttle, he'd go for a Wraith to try and help pick it off and defend against this kind of Zealot harassment, but no, he's just going to rely on, I guess, these 2 Marines in the bunker here. He doesn't even have an engineering way to build turrets, which is quite interesting.
Oh, that is actually quite interesting. He just banked on there being, well, I guess he didn't quite bank on there being no DTs, but no DT drops at least, which seems to be a good decision for him. The SCV building the second bunker does go down, so that's going to be that for bunker action for now. But this is a scary, scary position that TTF's in, and he's looking really, really good to take this. Very smartly, getting rid of any mines that he's already sat on top of so that no more unfortunate Zealot bombs can happen.
You know what, I'm wondering, he's making a drop shot right now, but rather than going, oh, hold that thought, big Zealot bomb! Is he gonna get the tank? No. But rather than going just for like harassment drops, I wonder if he's just going to elevate her down into the main base. So cover with the tanks on the high ground and just kind of slowly push his way into the main base, just using the dropship rather than going through the natural. Meanwhile, looks like he's also going to try and keep using the Zealot bombs as well as the Reaver to be as efficient as possible, but it's just so hard here. He's got so little room to maneuver. It looks like he might be going for the break right now here. He's going in with a shuttle. Is it going to be enough here? He's coming out with all the Zealots. He's not dropping the Reaver yet. He needs to drop the Reaver. He's trying to find a good place. He does get a Reaver shot off. It's not quite enough, and oh man, he's lost all his ground forces as well.
Yep.
Trying to break that. I think that's probably going to be it for Draw here. I don't really see how he can actually break out of this anymore after that failed attempt.
Yeah, he's going to have a hard time. I'm surprised we haven't seen a Citadel from him yet. I think speed outs would make a big difference and would just buy him a little bit of extra time maybe. But he looks like he might actually manage to break out with the use of this Reaver, but oh, lovely micro right there, managing to blow up a whole lot of stuff all at once. And the Reaver not going to go down, so he doesn't actually manage to break the contain. He's got a lot of work to do in terms of rebuilding his economy. He might just be okay for the moment though, and might be able to pull something out of the bag, much like we saw in the last game. But however, looking at TTF's position, TTF is looking good, and I'm not sure if Draw's going to have bargained for that dropship.
You know, weirdly, excuse me, no reinforcements actually came for that contain. So I guess TTF also partly abandoned it. It's kind of funny. I was just like, oh no, Draw can't break it, and he just kind of seemingly easily broke out of that with some solid Reaver micro. In the meantime, the Wraith was finally made, but you know, way too late to actually do anything. Although now there is a dropship, 1 siege tank, and 2 vultures. Although there is one observer actually moving down in that direction. No, it looks like he's going to turn in the wrong direction right before it hits the dropship. Although actually it's going to be very close. I think they're barely going to miss each other. I think that's barely out of vision. It might have caught it in like the residual vision, because you don't lose vision immediately when your unit moves out of a space. Yeah, it doesn't look like Draw. No, Draw is reacting. He definitely saw it now.
Oh my god, TTF is going to lose that dropship. He's going to lose the tank, and he's going to lose the vultures as well. This is going to be no contest right here. The tank's going to go down, but we can see a couple of nice mine hits. Ooh, managing to get a decent enough mine hit, taking out a Dragoon, seriously damaging a second, but there is no way in hell that was worth it. Major loss right there for TTF. And since it looks like he actually cut units quite significantly for a while, so that's kind of the majority of his army on the map right here. Moving a sneaky vulture into the natural expansion of Draw as well, but it looks like that vulture's not going to be able to do too much damage. And yeah, TTF just going to have to build up a little bit more.
Do you see that mine behind the main mineral line? That is scaring the hell out
of
me
right dangerous.
Now. Like one zealot walks there and the entire pro line is gone, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, I hope we don't miss something like that later on. I'm gonna keep an eye on that mine. Meanwhile, some vultures gonna harass our third here, just be very annoying. But Draw should be able to take care of that. Look, he's just gonna send his Reaver to take care of this easy peasy. Not gonna bother wasting his Dragoons. Of course, he does want to. Oh no, he's gonna send a handful now. But note that he is leaving a few at the natural. He does want to be a little bit careful here that he doesn't let more vultures run into his main or anything like that. A lot of times when the Terrans feels like they're behind, or they just want to do some more harassment, they send vultures all over the place and kind of try and pull your Dragoons one way or the other. Almost like we saw what the Zerg was doing to the Protoss in the last game between Drone and Nogger.
Sorry. We have a bit of Wraith on shuttle action. Oh no, but a terrible twist of fate. Just as the shuttle moves towards the Wraith runs away. It must have been actually within sight range, but already decided to move away, so close stuff right there. But yeah, this is going to be some curious play. It looks like we've actually got a third base commit from TTF, so yeah, it's going to be just progressing quite slowly from here on in for a little while, but such a missed opportunity there to take down that Reaver with the Wraith, which was perfectly positioned, even if only for a second.
Yeah, now this third base is actually going to be finished quite quickly, quite soon after the Protoss third, so that's gonna put the Terran in a fairly good position right now if Draw isn't able to do anything about it. Looks like he is moving in with his Reaver and his Dragoons. I'm gonna try and do some harassment here. I think he does need to do that, or else he is still slightly behind. The supplies are fairly close. Looks like Draw is pulling ahead a little bit here, but still anyone's game. Draw isn't that far behind by any means, and if he gets a good Zealot bombs right here, he's gonna try and cause the tanks to splash each other, and looks like does get a bit of damage. There is the Wraith though that's basically putting a time limit on how effective that's gonna be, and looks like this Zealot is gonna get 2 tanks there. Very nice, although he might lose the shuttle. Oh, drops the Reaver though at the last second and saves that crucial Reaver, so that was quite nice.
Yeah, that was close stuff. He's going to have to invest in another shuttle if he wants that Reaver to be particularly useful. Although he can just position it as natural or at his third in order to make sure Vulture Harass doesn't really do too much damage. But again, I don't think that would be necessarily the best use. But the third base is now up for TTF, so kind of the clock's ticking a little bit on Draw at this point. He needs to kind of be thinking about a fourth. He needs to be thinking about ways that he can start to do some damage to his opponent, because TTF has been able to cut quite heavily going into the mid game here, and thus has been able to actually really play the economic game quite smartly.
Indeed, I like how TTF is sending out these vultures to check for hidden expansions. That's one very easy way that Protosses can get back into a game, is to sneak an expansion, of course, because the probe can just make everything by itself. The heroic little probe makes the Nexus and all the cannons to defend it. So the last thing you want is to run up to a main base and see it's a fully mining base there that's half mined out, and it's got 5 cannons defending it. That is just the worst feeling in the world. So just making sure that that's not going to happen. He's got vision everywhere now. Looks like Draw meanwhile is just kind of positioning himself in the middle of the map here. He's still got this random gateway that's alive, and actually sending out a random DT here. Perhaps maybe try and get a lucky mine drag, or just kind of hold position out here and wait for the Terran to move out, and maybe try and snipe some tanks or something. Oh, no, looks like it's going back. Oh, he's gonna go drop with it actually.
Where is it?
1 DT, 1 Reaver. It's in the shuttle now,
yeah, I see.
Although he's going home now, maybe get a second DT or something. I'm a little bit confused by this, but he has started Arbiter production as well, so taking up quite nicely, and he's got looks like 6 gateways in his main base. Probably looking to take a fourth now. Oh, it looks like he sent a probe to the 12 o'clock, but he got sniped by some vultures. So very nice move there by TTF.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think these vultures are really going to be able to do too much. Draw's playing the positional game well with his Dragoons, but yeah, I still think he needs to do something to really get back into this. That DT may be some kind of an answer, but honestly, yeah, there's so many missile turrets down at that bottom right-hand corner. I don't think it's going to be happening for him.
I just realized that speed isn't even done yet.
Oh, what?
Oh man, his leg speed is only just now finishing up, so that's really, really late leg speed. Although given all the craziness that's happened in the game so far, I can't really blame him. Meanwhile, looks like sending Dragoons over to 12 o'clock once again. I don't see a probe though. Oh, there's a probe. Oh man, the vultures. Where are the vultures? Okay, looks like they're actually running around the third here. They're trying to get up here, but it is blocked by a couple of pylons, so I think this probe should be able to get up there safely. These vultures could definitely come back and kill it. Oh, they might actually go back and kill it now. Now that that vulture died, they're trying to come back. They're not quite fast enough though, I don't think. And there are a lot of Dragoons there, so I think this Nexus is going to go down. The vultures though, oh, they're coming around the other side. But no, the Nexus is planted, so it doesn't really matter now if the probe goes down.
I think those vultures, yeah, definitely going to be turned away. There's a significant number of Dragoons moving around, and this is good positioning, and the last of the vultures goes down. There's a couple of stray mines around the map, which I wouldn't mind Draw clearing out. Looks like he might... Ooh, not quite taking the mine hit there. So yeah, TTF's map positioning isn't quite as good as it could be, because yeah, Draw's been good at kind of closing down those important avenues with his Dragoons, and he'd maybe rather have a few more mines around about at this point. But I still think he has the initiative. He's had the economic lead for a good long time, so I still think he should be in a decent position.
And he has added on a bunch of gateways just as TTF finishes up adding like 4 more factories here. So he's gone up to looks like 9 factories in total, a lot of factories facing what seems to be about 12 gateways here from Draw. So that's a pretty standard numbers here. Of course, Protoss does need a few extra production facilities. Draw's now at 185 supply against the 144 of TTF. You know, it's slightly in Draw's favor, maybe, but generally the Protoss will be about 38 supply ahead or so at this point anyway, when the game is even. So I think that's completely fine. Draw, meanwhile, taking his 12 o'clock. That's the one thing I was concerned about, is that Draw's 4th is relatively late. So even though in supply-wise, you know, tech-wise, production facility-wise, they're staying pretty even, this 4th base is quite late. So I'm really concerned about how Draw's going to keep affording all this stuff. I mean, he is max now, and he is transferring some probes over, so I guess he's going to just try and hold off the Terran for a little while longer and wait until that base gets operational.
This can be a bit deceptive though, because while at this point it looks like there's no real damage being done to Draw, he can only afford this one army. At this point you'd want to start really building up a proper big bank, and while he's going to be able to build up a fairly decent bank, he's not going to be able to max out again that quickly in terms of one unfavorable engagement goes down.
Oh, EMP! Oh! Sick EMP hits all of the Dragoons and the Arbiter. That's going to be really bad. And 2-1, by the way, just finished for Terran, so that's usually a timing where you would push out if you're going for something like that. He did build the armories with a timing that suggested he was going for that, since they finished basically at the same time, although now he started +2 armor and is not actually moving. So I guess perhaps just going to sit in his base a little while longer. I mean, I would have thought after that sick EMP, he would just immediately go for it. That is the only Arbiter that I can see in Draw's army right now, so that would have been an amazing time to push. Looks like he's just going to wait for a few more units here, do a little bit more Vulture harass. Actually barely missed this probe at the bottom left. Oh my god, I can't believe he didn't kill it. But
yeah, I don't even know how that happened. That's really, really weird. I mean, the probe isn't really going to be able to do anything, but yeah, not pretty sure how that went down.
Move command, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome.
Meanwhile, a 5th base now going up for Draw at the top right. See, this is what he wants to do. He's maxed now, so obviously he can't spend any more money on units. So all he wants to do is take bases, and more importantly, build gateways. But oh, it looks like this probe is going to get taken down. Not before walling off, though. And once again, the probe doesn't die. I don't know what's up with these pacifist vultures here, but look, this probe is attacking the vultures even. He's just like, come on, you know, bring it on, kill me.
Yeah, that probe's got some seriously hardcore stuff going on. Meanwhile, the main Protoss force is actually retreating across the map, so that probe's like trying to set a noble example to all the rest of them, and is actually picking up a vulture kill. So props to that probe. In these 2 games, we've seen a probe kill an Ultralisk and a probe kill a vulture. So how much more crazy could it get, guys? You are watching the absolute finest in Brood War right now, undoubtedly, because we have uber probes killing stuff left, right, and center. And TTF is finally actually doing his major push, and that is so many tanks. Draw does have a decent bank, but he doesn't have that many gateways. So if this engagement does go well,
the EMP went off. Where's the storm? There's no storm. Draw's not in a good position here. He's running in the line. He needs to move back here, get a slightly better position. Wants to spread out the arbiters so they don't all get EMP'd. And it looks like there's the big unsiege, but a lot of the vultures have gone down. There's not that many support units for the siege tanks. Got to be very, very careful without those buffering vultures and, you know, supporting Goliaths to help against the arbiters. The arbiters all have a lot of energy right now, 1 or 2 stasis apiece, and here we go. Where are the stasis? Here we go, the big engagement. Stasis on the tanks. Beautiful stasis there, and it looks like there's so many tanks in the back, though. He needs to get another stasis off if he wants to win this engagement. He's got max energy arbiters. I don't know why he's not doing it. There's a second stasis, running out of zealots, but it looks like Draw will be able to take this engagement. I think just barely. It's so close. No, maybe not. Reinforcements coming in. He's not dropping the Reaver here, and it looks like actually, despite those great stasis, another late stasis this time. TTF is going to take it, and the thing is, these units will come out of stasis and still be alive and waiting for the next attack here. Draw now with 5 arbiters, but essentially no ground forces. The Reaver's still doing damage. It looks like there's no detection here, though. There's no scan from TTF, so we can't see the Reaver right now, although he doesn't actually have any units that can kill it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit of a bad idea to leave units hanging around. As long as the scan is good from TTF, why is there no scan coming in? He's just going to lose his tanks for free. And yeah, all those tanks are going to go down for free. Now the scan comes in more than a little bit late to actually do the trick. Sandstorms are coming in too, but that's a lot of tanks going down. And that is a great equalizer after a battle which didn't necessarily go so well for Draw. We do have a little bit of pressure going down at the top right hand corner. We have a single tank, we have a bunch of vultures hanging around as well. But I think Draw has managed to actually save this from the jaws of possible defeat right here.
Oh man, but if you look at the supplies, Draw's at 176, TTF down at 121, and Draw's just added a whole bunch of gateways at the bottom left. He's definitely looking good for Draw right now, even though he was in a slightly precarious situation just now. Those couple of end stases actually did do pretty nicely for him, and this little harassment at the top right looks like it is going to get cleaned up. The Vultures might get a few more probe kills, but that's about it. This probe's actually trying to build a Nexus down here at the bottom left. Not going to happen. Blocked by that mine. He's going to have to build a cannon there first or something.
Yeah, I think he will. Although he does have units popping out of those gateways. But yeah, I think Draw's really managed to pull this back very, very nicely. TTF was in a good position, and he hasn't necessarily played this badly. I think he was maybe just a little bit slow on his push and found himself in an unfortunate position at the bottom of a ramp at one point as well. But TTF does have time to regroup. I mean, well, sort of. He doesn't have any gas in the bank, which is quite unfortunate. And it's going to be difficult for him to maintain that fourth base unless it stays hidden. But I think Draw is going to be all over that in just a second.
Indeed, he is. TTF just trying to hang on with some fancy vulture control here. He's just gotten the 6 o'clock base, but it's, you know, completely undefended. And as you said, you know, without the gas, he can't, it's so hard for him to remax on, or sorry, to just rebuild that force of siege tanks. I mean, as you can see here, he's got about, you know, 9 tanks right now, but he had so many tanks just now, and that's just so costly when you lose that big engagement. Terran really needs to win the first engagement. The Protoss is the one that generally will actually lose when you're on a basically maxed on max battle, and then the Protoss can actually remax a lot faster and more cheaply than the Terran. The Terran's the one that really needs that core siege tanks to stay alive. Those bad boys are 100 gas each. So that was really painful for TTF, and now it looks like he's going to lose the 6 o'clock base as well. Looks like he's going to do one final desperation push here, just unable to save the space. He's going to lift it off and go for the kill, go for the jugular, see if he can just, you know, force Draw to engagement, a bad position at the top right, maybe clean up the army, clean up all the bases there, and try and win the game that way. But it's really not looking good. Looks like random vessel got stasis here before he could get the EMP off.
Yeah, some vessel stasis up, so he's going to have to pretty much just use scan. No EMPs available, as you say. And this is a tiny army, really, for this stage of the game. 155 supply is good, it's okay. But I think we're going to see Draw come down on this pretty heavily once maybe another round of speed out.
Oh, my recall! Oh, nice defensive recall all over the tanks here. And this could be at a stasis as well from the recalled Arbiter. TTF just running around, but there are reinforcements coming in from the back, although it looks like they might get taken down by these spider mines, but it doesn't even matter. The Terran army getting cleaned up. Draw will be able to camp these units and kill them as soon as they come out of stasis. TTF desperately trying to do something with some more vultures here. He's distance mining from the 6 o'clock base. That is how desperate the situation is right now for him, but I really don't see him coming back anymore once he loses this force.
No, I can't imagine it's even possible. George is surrounding it with so many units and almost maxed out once again already, whilst TTF languishing on 146 supply. Terrible, terrible position to be in as the Terran player. I mean, I can see kind of why he's still in this, but I think his time is going to be limited. His action in the bottom left-hand corner might yield something, but right now there is a big Protoss.
Oh, he's going to kill some probes!
He is going to kill some probes. He's actually going to get a transfer right there. There's a high Templar coming out, going to throw down its life. for Aya. Not that it's going to help Aya one bit, but we do have the process army walking through quite a significant minefield right here. He has no observers right there. He's going to sack quite a lot of units in an attempt to actually get over there, but very sensibly deciding to do a little bit of a dragon action with a Zealot finally. But he is going to lose quite a lot of stuff down in this bottom left-hand corner. He's got no probes actually mining right there, so he is only mining off 1, 2, 3 base. Okay, he's not doing so badly for economy. But TTF does manage to get the bottom left-hand corner base established again, so maybe just about feeling some kind of lifeline in this game still.
Man, TTF, I gotta say, he is pulling out all the stops here. This is actually surprisingly effective, given all the damage he's taken so far. And I don't know, if he keeps being super efficient like this, maybe he can do something, but the problem is Draw's just mining so many bases right now. He's still, even though he loses his space, he's still got the top right bases. TTF just managed to start mining again from the 6 o'clock. He's actually got a little bit more money banked than he probably should, but I guess he's way too focused on the micro here. But it looks like this little force is going to get taken down here, not even going to finish off the Nexus, so that's probably going to be that here. He has actually, remacroed a kind of a medium-sized force, but compared to the Protoss army that's max right now, it's really not too scary.
Yeah, and Draw can just basically keep remaxing for quite some time here. We have more Vulture action coming up on the top right-hand side, and this is what I always find strange about players. They always seem to bring out their best game when they're already practically dead. They finally think, right, how can I be efficient in this game? How can I actually, make my units count? How can I win this? Rather than just kind of following the thing they thought they were going to do all along.
That's actually so true. Oh, another defensive recall here right on the army. It does get EMP'd, not before doing tremendous damage. But it's funny that you say that. I actually found, just from my own laddering experience, that's so true. I have definitely come up with the best play and also learned the most when I'm in a really terrible situation. I'm just trying to come back. But GG from TTF.
GG.
Fighting Spirit go. Unfortunately, TTF, you don't actually get to choose the map. It is a set map order, but nice try there. Nice try.
Yeah. But it was a well fought game in the end. But I think TTF had a good position in the early game, and he just let it get away from him a bit. He was a bit slow, which can often be a problem for a Terran, kind of capitalizing the mid game against Protoss. If you haven't got a very, very clear plan, then that kind of thing can really happen very, very, very easily, and Protoss can just kind of walk his way back into it just by building a few bases.
Indeed, indeed. And well, I guess we'll do a couple of quick ads as well, and then just go straight into game number 2. Don't want to dally too long, of course. It is a best of 3 here. And contrary to what TTF believes, the next map is going to be Electric Circuit, not Fighting Spirit. Fighting Spirit will be the 3rd map if it does get to that.
Yeah.
So, BRB.